English is the most commonly used medium of instruction in Philippine school system. Despite our mother tongue, the English language has been used primarily in most schools from preschool to tertiary level. To achieve academic success, students should possess a certain level of English language proficiency, which covers a wide range of English language fluency and expertise in macro skills like reading, grammar, and vocabulary use. At professional level, standardized tests like the International English Language Testing System or IELTS and Test of English as Foreign Language or TOEFL measures English language proficiency for non-native English speakers. Unfortunately, the Philippines rapidly declined from 27th place to 20th place in 2019 and still in danger of depletion with a drastic change in educational system due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. The threat of virus pushed schools and other educational institutions to shift to alternative distance learning, which spurs a digital revolution in educational system, adopting four primarily alternative learning modalities of limited face-to-face learning, distance learning or blended learning, online learning, and modular learning. Sudden transition educational system creates dilemmas among learners on which suitable learning modality to choose. Moreover, adopting new learning modalities reveals several significant concerns such as educational policy, innovative pedagogy, socioeconomic factors, psychosocial factors of learners, and technology, which has directly impacted students' academic success, including their English language proficiency. Financial struggles had been an issue to families in education even though the government had already established free education to state universities and colleges. Students at the tertiary level need money covering the cost of studying for buying suitable materials including books and other gadgets and getting accommodations in universities and colleges. Moreover, concerning socio-economic factors stated above, the civil status of students affects the completion of education, including their performance in the acquisition of English language proficiency. Romantic relationships could be considered keys to improve or distraction in achieving academic success. To focus, the third-year students of BSN English of Mindoro State University can utilize non-intellectual factors to acquire English proficiency of vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension. Non-intellectual factors may influence English language proficiency enhancement necessary to advance in more complicated subjects in the succeeding year and in the practice of pre-service teaching. Therefore, researchers conduct a study to determine if there is a significant relationship between non-intellectual factors and the level of English language proficiency of BS and English students of Mindoro State University, Calapan City campus. This study aims to determine the relationship between non-intellectual factors and the level of English language proficiency of BS Ed English students of Mindoro State University, Calapan City campus. Specifically, this research intends to answer the following question. First, what are the intellectual factors in language learning of BS Ed English students of Mindoro State University in terms of first, learning modality preference, second, civil status, and third, economic status. Number two question, what is the level of English language proficiency of students in terms of first, vocabulary, second, grammar, and third, reading comprehension? The third question is there a significant relationship between non-intellectual factors and the level of English language proficiency? For question, based on the findings, what educational output related to study may be proposed? And then for our A hypothesis, there is no significant relationship between non-intellectual factors and the level of English language proficiency of BS and English students at Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus.
For our theoretical framework, these are the theories that support the conduct of the study. Liu and Chang 2008 described Bourdieu's social capital theory in education as forms of parents' expectations, commitments, and connection that are present within the family, education, institution, and society, which are significant for learners' success. Parents' social and moral obligation is to educate their children. Through social capital theory, parents' involvement and investment impact their children's academic performance and achievements. In connection to the study, parents' economic contribution plays a significant role in attaining greater heights in education. Like other Asian families, Filipino parents value their children's education more importantly at the tertiary level. Parents fund the needs of their children for schooling like buying school supplies, books, and electronic gadgets necessary for learning which aids children in advancement and attaining degrees. Likewise, parents finance their children's education by sending them to schools that offers quality education. Furthermore, Mishra 2013 states that Marx's conflict theory in education emphasizes the economic inequalities visible in classroom and educational institutions. He added that those learners from socio-economically fortunate families finishing schools with minimal difficulties and experience better education, implying the conflict exists among social groups. Similarly, he agreed with the theorists explaining the existence of competition in public schools as a preservation of societal hierarchies and opposed to schools' curriculum favoring the elites. Like social capital theory, conflict theory connects to the study for the economic status of families, gives a significant contribution to learner success. Despite solid campaigns against discrimination in schools, students are often divided and classified varying in ethnicity, social, and financial status, which raises the conflict among them. Conflict happens since there are limited resources such as textbooks, computer sets, and other supplies including teachers' attention, which is necessary for learning. As a result, these groups often compete to avail these resources, widening the gap affecting their academic accomplishment. Ilchin and et al. 2018 states that a person's problem-solving aptitude is influenced by their preferred learning styles according to Kolb's theory. Thus, according to Wessel et al., instructors must be aware of students' learning style and problem-solving abilities to give students the best learning opportunity. Previous research has shown that students aware of their learning style perform better in school. One may genuinely maximize their potential if one knows their learning preferences. That can help us better understand our chosen subject of study, improve our exam grade, and ultimately achieve our educational objectives. In addition, identifying learning modality preferences can assist students in conquering challenges areas of studies, overcome some of the problems that come with learning new content, and boost successful learning mode. According to Maslow AH 2014, Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Maslow theory of human motivation, Maslow 1943 is regarded as a cornerstone of understanding human motivation. The concept of human motivation states that we all have basic needs that must be met, such as biological and physiological safety, belonging and love, self-esteem, and self-actualization. If our fundamental needs such as shelter and love are addressed, we may focus on higher order ones such as self-esteem and self-actualization. The urge to belong and be liked by others becomes vital if a person is physically fulfilled and feels protected. The needs for love and belonging acknowledges that each individual requires more than just food and shelter. We need to be part of something better than ourselves and a part of partnership or organization that recognizes us as individuals while also providing us with a larger sense of purpose. This need can be satisfied by cultivating friendships, having a trustworthy someone to talk to, being in a romantic relationship, or feeling a sense of belonging to cause such as club or a team. In our conceptual framework, we employ the IPO model, which identifies the inputs, outputs, and the processing activities needed to convert inputs into outputs. For our input, we have first our independent variable, which is the non-intellectual factors, and its indicators, which are the learning modality preference of the students, the civil status of the students, and the economic status of the students. Next is our dependent variable, which is the level of English proficiency of the students in terms of vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension. We also include our statistical test, which is the Spearman-Rho statistical method and analysis, which we will use to scale the relationship between independent and dependent variables. And our last on the list for inputs is our self-made questionnaires. In the process, we first have our research design, wherein we will use a qualitative research design. After that, we will undergo to the validation. Next will be data collection, and then data interpretation, and lastly, the evaluation of all the data that have been gathered. For our output, we will propose a module to uplift the level of English proficiency in terms of vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension.
Learners and teachers had to adjust to the new normal of learning since the pandemic began, in which students learn at home and select from a variety of learning modes given by their institution. Due to the new normal of learning, researchers want to know the students' preferred learning modality, non-intellectual factors in language learning, and how it affects their English proficiency. Different indicators could determine the relationship and effectiveness of learning and English proficiency. The researchers chose three indicators for each variable to help them provide specific results. The indicators of English language proficiency include vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension, while the indicators of non-intellectual factors in language learning are learning modalities, preferences, economic status, and civil status. Upon reading and reviewing different articles and researches, the researchers received affirmations regarding the effects of economic status in terms of language learning. They also realized that young learners from wealthy homes with more social and financial resources may be given more English learning opportunities or more access to learning and hence to achieve higher levels of English language competence than those from less privileged backgrounds. The study cited in support of this study proved that the condition of the civil status and economic status of learners have indeed an impact to the English language proficiency of the students. Though each study presented different kind of impacts to the English language learning, it was evident that the learners are much capable to attain their preferred learning modalities based on the resources and other factors that influences the students' learning. These factors included comfort or having a solid internet connection, having the proper number of devices. There are studies that said that teachers should evaluate how each student's ideas and attitudes, which are the non-intellectual factors that affect their English language proficiency as well as their economic status and opinions on language acquisition, since this was what was shown in the related literature and studies. It was concluded that there are a variety of results that this study could have. The non-intellectual factors in language learning might have negative and positive impacts to the language learning or English language proficiency of the students or do not have any impact at all. Overall, the results that will be used in the making of an intervention plan would still depend on the answers of the respondents regarding the questions or statements that will be given. This research study will use a quantitative research design to find the relationship between the non-intellectual factors and English language proficiency of the respondents and the third-year BS Ed English students in Mindoro State University, Calapan City campus. The quantitative approach focuses on utilizing a statistical, mathematical, or numerical analysis of data collected from questionnaires, polls, and surveys, and generalizing it across a group of people to explain the specific phenomenon according to Babi 2020. Moreover, this study will employ a correlational design using the Spearman-Roy statistical method to compare and find the significant relationship between the two variables.